All right, you guys, we are super excited for our guest today. We are going to dive into all things cycling and maybe schooling for for her MD too, if we have time for it. But we have Elise Chabbey with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to you for the invitation.
Yeah, we're excited. So she's tuning in from, you said Geneva.
Yes.
Okay, I have a bunch of people in Girona right now, so I don't want to mess that
It's quite
up.
different.
Yes, quite different. So we gave you a little brief on the how we'll lay things out here with our two truths and a lie. So I'll let you break those down for us, Elise, and Amanda and I will take a guess at what those are.
So I during a race, it happens to me to take 6 caffeine gel in a
Wow.
4-hour race. The
Okay.
first one. Second one is I brush my teeth 6 times a day,
Okay. Okay.
usually. And the last one is I eat 6 eggs per day.
Oh, okay. So we're got a series of sixes here. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like eating 6 eggs is not unrealistic. 6 caffeine gels seems like a lot, but it's possible. The teeth brushing also seems realistic because with all the gels you take in, I feel like I'm not sure if you have heard much about it too, at least for like urine. But when I went to my dentist recently, he was like, "Yeah, all the sports products, like they're just ruining everybody's teeth." So I think there's that out there. If we're doing a lot of sports nutrition, we brush our teeth. Maybe we should be brushing our teeth more. Um, I don't know. What do you think, Amanda?
I know it's hard. I feel like even, and also the teeth brushing, like if you're doing like small meals throughout the day and you're diligent.
Hmm.
Um, oh, that one's hard. Maybe I'll do okay, I'm gonna do the teeth brushing. Maybe it's like 4 times.
I'll do the gels.
Okay, I was conflicted.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll reveal it at the end for our listeners. But why don't you at least take us back a ways? What was your upbringing like? I know you went to the Olympics for kayaking, so I'd love for you to kind of share what brought you into just sports in general and specifically kayaking, and then how did you transfer into cycling? Get it?
Yeah, it's quite a long story. I mean, when I was a kid, I always went in holiday with my parents camping, and we went in the river, and they were doing a lot of kayaking. So that's how I started. I mean, everybody in the family was doing kayaking, and that's how I started more as a hobby.
Mm,
And then my older brother started to do competition, and I really like what he was experienced there, and so I just joined him for some training, and they could see I was quite talented in it, so that's how I started. But it's a super small sport, and nobody's really following it or watching it, so
mm,
yeah,
hmm.
it's a family sport, I would say, and I just really liked it. It's kind of a big family with all the men and women together at the competitions, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
how I went into it.
Wow. T-
Mm.
I'm like terrified of kayaking and even river rafting because I'm like so scared of drowning. I mean, I can swim, but like still. Did you ever
But
have
I
any
actually also
scares?
don't really like the water, so
Oh,
it's funny. But usually you stay on the water, you don't go in.
yes,
I mean,
under,
it's a
not
bad sign
under.
if you're in the water.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. And then from not cycling, kayaking, getting into cycling, did you cycle at all prior to the Olympics, or is that something that totally came on after the kayaking?
No, not at all actually, because you need to be quite light from the lower body
Mm.
in the kayak, like to have less weight in the boat.
Oh,
So
interesting.
actually, it was forbidden almost to do cycling or running.
Oh,
So we did a lot of gym and yeah, more for the upper body.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, after the Olympics, it's more that my parents wanted me to study something because
Mm.
you have no money in this sport, you cannot really live from it. And they were like, yeah, maybe you need to keep going with something to for later. And then I started medicine. I actually
Mm.
don't really know why. And I had no time to train anymore, so I just went full gas in the studies, and
Wow.
yeah, I just actually after the Olympics, I never went into my boat anymore at all.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, I was still quite young, so I just wanted to also enjoy a bit
Mhm.
party. And yeah, in the medical school, you have a lot of party, and you go out and you study, and then you go out. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a time I wanted to enjoy a bit this part of the life.
Mm.
But yeah, actually after 1 year, I was like, yeah, I mean, enough with it. I actually really like sport, and I like to go to be out and
Mhm.
spend energy. And so I went into running because I didn't have much time in between the lessons. And with running, it's quite easy. You just put some shoes and you go out for 30 minutes. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I started to run more and more, actually. I did some competition and I really liked it. I was in this trail running team, Scott Running International, and I did some
Mhm.
competition with them, and I really liked it. And then, I mean, it happens to a lot of runner. I was injured. I
Oh,
had a
shoot.
stress fracture on the hip.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, the doctor said, okay, for 6 months you cannot put any weight on the leg. So
Oh,
it was really, really hard for me. I had to find something else. And I mean, the cycling was the first sport I could go into.
yeah.
And that's how I started,
Wow. Wow.
basically.
Yeah. That's incredible. Thinking about the different stressors on the body from a muscle performance perspective, right? Kayaking, like you're saying, is a lot of upper body. I imagine there's a lot of like core involvement too in kayaking. And then going to something where running, lower body focus, but you're like maybe your legs too weren't prepared for that after coming from kayaking, or I mean, who knows? But I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's also what I think is like, I think I have good like VO2 max and good lungs, but
mhm,
yeah, like the muscles are not used to it. And if you
right.
start too fast to run too much, then I
Yeah.
mean, for sure the body is not prepared. And yeah, was
Yeah.
hard. I mean,
Wow.
also I had yeah, like with running, I feel like it's even more a problem than in cycling, that you need to be really light, and for sure
Mm,
you pay attention about the weight. And yeah,
mhm.
it didn't help for sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So getting into cycling and starting that up, I mean, how did your legs feel starting to ride a bike? Was it like you're saying the lungs were there, but did the legs fatigue quickly before the lungs?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like the first loops I did, I remember I was doing maybe 2 hours and I was super tired. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was still studying at this time, so I
Wow.
didn't have much time. I was just riding my bike. I didn't like
Mm-hmm.
train or whatever. I was just like enjoying going
Mm-hmm.
out on my bike. And I never imagined that one day I would be professional in cycling. For me, it was just a way to go out and do something.
Yeah. Wow. And so how did that evolve going from just get like, I got an injury, I got to stay no weight bearing on this leg, to being in the Tour de Femmes. Do we call it the Tour de Femmes or do you call it the Tour de France Femmes? What do you call it?
Tour de France femme.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that evolution happen? Did you enter some races and things turned out really well, or?
Yeah, like in Switzerland, I mean, in Geneva, there was this guy, he wanted to build kind of a woman team in cycling.
Mhm.
It's like like national woman team, like just in
Yeah.
Switzerland. And he was looking for women. And he was like, yeah, maybe you can just try to come and do some competition with us in Switzerland. So that's how I started to do some competition. But
Wow.
yeah, first I was not really into it. Like, yeah, I still wanted to go back to running. And I
Mhm.
feel like cycling is such like a tactical sport, technical
Mhm.
sport. And I came super late. So yeah, I was not really ready to really focus on that and try to improve this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I did some competition and I was quite good. And
Mhm.
I always said I was super lucky in my career because I always met the right people at the right moment. And yeah, I did one competition in Switzerland, and there was this manager from a World Tour team, actually.
Oh, wow.
And actually didn't do so well on the competition, but I think he
Mhm.
saw something in me, and he came at the end. He was like, yeah, you can try to be a professional cyclist. If you want, you can come in my team. And
Wow.
yeah, first I actually said no. I was like, no, I mean, I still study medicine. I want to focus on my study, finish everything, and I don't want to go into professional sport again, because I was
Mm.
already kind of professional in kayaking, and it's a
Mhm.
lot of sacrifices. And yeah, I mean, you need to go 100% in it, and it's quite hard also mentally. And so
Yeah.
first I said no. And at this time, my ex-boyfriend, he really pushed me. Well, maybe just try and do like
Mm.
1 year, and if you don't like, you can always stop.
Mhm.
And so I called back the manager, and I told him, okay, I'm happy to come, but I mean, I don't want to be paid or whatever. I just want to see how it is, and maybe
Yeah.
do some races with you. And also, like, the condition was like, first my studies, I finish my medical school, and after, like, if I'm free or if I have time, I come for the competition.
Yeah.
And it was super, like, easy, and he really arranged like a nice calendar. And yeah, that helped, because I could go really, like, taking my time, and
Mhm.
take it easy. And I remember one of my first big race was the Giro d'Italia,
Mm.
and it's
Mhm.
a 7-day races, and I was so not ready. It was super hard. And
Oh,
also
wow.
I had my final exam of my final, like, medical exam
Oh
the week
gosh.
after, so I had to study, like, in between the stages, and like I didn't sleep the whole night. I was just studying,
Oh,
and I was
wow.
so bad on the race. But
Man.
yeah, after this I was like, oh my God, I want to do this, and I want to give it a chance.
Yeah. And how did the medical exam go next week?
Actually, I did well at the end. So I mean, I would
Awesome.
not do it again, like, to do both, because it was so hard. I,
Yeah.
like, honestly, I was really on my limit. But
Mhm.
yeah, at the end I
Wow.
did it. And after this, when I passed my exam, I was like, yeah, maybe I just take 1 year. I'd go 100% in cycling, and I
Mhm.
see where it's going. And so this was 2020.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I mean, at the end, COVID happened, so it was not really a year of cycling. So
Mhm.
yeah, then I went back to the hospital. I worked again,
Mhm.
and I would say 2021 was my first year as a professional cyclist.
Wow. Wow. And what type of medicine did you do in the hospital?
In the COVID pandemic, I just worked, like, actually the whole hospital was for COVID at this
Oh,
point.
wow. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think it was like this in every country pretty much. Like, they really,
Yeah.
yeah, spend most of the time with the COVID patients. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So talking about the Giro, going into that, having come from a sport like kayaking, and I'm not versed in kayaking by any stretch of the imagination, so but I imagine a lot of these water sports, there's not a whole lot of sipping and eating going on, or maybe it's not needed based off the duration of the sport, right?
Yeah, not at all. Actually, it's funny, because in cycling, I feel like it's such a big part of the sport, like all the
Hmm.
nutrition, the hydration. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it's super important. You cannot miss it. And
Right.
in kayaking, actually, we didn't even talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need anything, because it's 2 minutes effort. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
but we were not even taking a gel or something before. We're like,
Yeah.
I remember we didn't care about nutrition. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because the sport is still, yeah, like,
No.
it's
Or
not so
yeah.
professional, so
Yeah.
maybe there's not enough background also. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, we would eat whatever.
Yeah. Wow. So then going to something like the Giro, can you, for our listeners, how long were those stages? How long were you out there on your bike? And what was nutrition like for you at that time?
I mean, at that time, also women's cycling was not that professional as now. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say, like, it really came later, maybe in the last 2 years, that we really, yeah, we know we have to eat so much, and like everything
Mm-hmm.
is really controlled. But at this time, yeah, I mean, we knew we had to have a lot of carbohydrate, but I would say, like, maybe we would eat, like, per hour, yeah, 50 grams per hour in the race, something like this, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, the stages are like 4 hours, I would say, between
Oh,
3 and 4:30.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and for 7 days.
Man. And were you, from like a nutrition perspective, after you finished the stage, were you just eating like carb heavy meals, or what was that like after?
Yeah, I mean, this first year I did, yeah, we didn't have any like nutritionist on the team or chef, or so we had just to deal with what we had in the hotel,
Hmm.
or we could just maybe prepare like a sandwich for after the race. And yeah, we had already this kind of protein shake. So yeah, after a race, you take a protein shake and you have a meal like
Hmm.
maybe on the way back to the hotel, and then you have
Yeah.
dinner in the evening.
Wow.
But yeah, now it's more controlled. Like everything, we weight everything. We know how much we need to eat during the race, after the race. So
Amazing.
everything is super controlled. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's evolved a lot in the last couple of years for this, for your cycling experience.
Yeah, now every team has a nutritionist, has a chef, and like every meal is prepared for each rider. So depending also like if you're more a climber, more a
Hmm.
sprinter, depending of your weight, like yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice because it's not on us to think about it.
Right.
You go back to the bus and you have your meal prepared, and you just know you have to eat it.
Yeah. Do
Sometimes
they
it's
ever
hard.
seem like a lot of food to eat?
It's huge, like especially in the stage races, honestly, after 3 4 days it's super hard to eat
Yeah.
everything.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean the chef tried to make it nice. So I
Mm.
mean at the end you have to eat carbohydrates, so
Yeah.
that's the I mean that's the basic thing, but sometimes it's hard to eat that much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you now, from a racing perspective, during a race, what are you shooting for from a carb perspective per hour now?
So now for like a classic, I would say, so for like a big race in Belgium when the weather is cold and you really need
Mm.
to eat, we aim for 100 gram per hour.
Yeah. Nice.
Um, but then maybe in the stage race when it's easier, like you will stay in the bunch, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a sprint stage and you don't have to do much, maybe 80 grams per hour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
still, you need always to think about the next day. And if you miss one day of fueling, then you will pay it the day after. So
Yeah.
it's really important to really stay like on
Yeah.
high dose.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
What kind of nutrition are you taking in during that works well for you with those types of racing?
So with the team, we are sponsored with Martin. I don't know if you know
Mm-hmm.
this
Yeah.
brand. It's I actually really like it because it's super simple. Like they
Mm-hmm.
don't have many like taste or what. It's actually
Right.
there's no taste at all.
Yeah.
And we use the 320. It's like in the
Mm-hmm.
bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and you have in one bottle you have 80 grams of carbs. So it's actually quite easy. Like per hour you need to have one bottle and
Mm-hmm.
one gel, for
Yeah.
example. And yeah, I mean it's not amazing. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it, but at the end it makes the job.
Yes, yes. How often are you trying to sip from your bottle throughout? Are you like, are you going on 15-minute intervals, or is it just whenever you can reach down and grab it?
Yeah, I mean, in cycling in the bunch, it really depends how is the race, because I mean, for sure, like maybe the first 2 hours are easier. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the first 2 hours, I really try to have maybe 3 bottles,
Mm-hmm.
and because I know that maybe in the last hour or last 2 hours, it will be hard to drink, and it would be more like gels.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I try really to remember in the beginning of the race to drink as much as possible, and maybe at the end I just go with the gels when I
Yeah.
have time or when the race like calming down a bit.
Yeah. Nice. And then with the meals, talking about those after the race, what kind of carbs are you, or is the chef putting together for you that you're consuming to help replenish glycogen?
So actually when we go, so at the finish line we have like kind of a fizzy drink. So this
Mm.
we can choose like whatever, Fanta, Coke or
Mm.
juice.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I go with the juice. I like pineapple juice or apple juice,
Yeah.
and some maybe Haribo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to the bus, and here we have recovery shake. So it's 20 grams of protein and 60 grams of carbs
Nice. Yeah.
in the shake. So this we have to take in the 15 minutes after the finish line.
Yeah.
And then we have a shower, and yeah, then I think it's in the hour 30 after the race, we need to have this, they call it lunch box, but it's usually it's just plain pasta or plain rice with actually no protein, no fat, just carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And then we go to the hotel, and in the hotel we have in the evening the dinner.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, sometimes the simple rice people can get, it can work, it works, right? But it can be like we have clients when they're carb loading. Some clients love it, and some clients are like over it. They need to put like soy sauce or tamari on it or something like that to give it a little
I
flavor.
mean, usually, I mean, it depends, because also sometimes if you put too many like fancy things, then it's hard to eat the right amount of
Yes.
carbohydrates. So that's
Yes.
why they make it quite plain
Yeah.
after the race, because you just have to eat it. And then in the evening, it's more like fancy. I mean, the chef will cook
Yeah.
maybe like a sauce or like something nice to go with it, and also with protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. With
And in
your
the morning, usually
Oh.
before the race, we have rice pudding.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
it's like I mean, I can tell you at the end of the season, I'm so tired of this rice pudding, because it's like every morning you have to just eat 400 grams of this rice pudding. But yeah, it changed a lot. It changed like sometimes the taste, so it's nice.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to show too that just how convenient rice is from a glycogen and perspective of stocking that up and and it's easy to digest for a lot of athletes versus like a bread product that sometimes they get burpy from those because all the baking soda and stuff like that in there. But yeah, that's great. It sounds like it's like you guys have a solid system in place, which is really, that's important. Do you do, when it comes to the hydration, you mentioned the bottles, like 2-3 bottles to start. Have you ever had any issues with your hydration status, like cramping or losing a bottle or anything like that during racing?
Actually, I'm quite lucky because I never had any cramps. Actually, I don't know
Awesome.
what the cramp is. Never had in my life.
Never in your life.
So it's quite crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah, you are lucky.
yeah, the problem with this Mortin, the only, I would say, annoying thing in the Mortin is that it's quite heavy. It's like you eat something, so sometimes it's also nice to have electrolytes or like maybe some salt, because there's actually no salt at all in the Mortin. And when it's really hot, you need also some electrolytes. So sometimes they also give us some water with just electrolytes in it. And yeah, it helps, I think.
Yeah, that's great. So I feel like I might have just dove into revealing a truth and a lie. I feel like she doesn't consume 6 caffeinated gels a race. I think we might have revealed that one. I'm not sure, but we'll wait till the end. And then let's see, from a training and actually before we even go down that rabbit hole. So we talked about we talked about during, we talked about your post recovery, but what about any like supplements? Do you guys utilize any supplements from a performance perspective, like sodium bicarb or beta alanine or any of those tools?
Yeah, so actually bicarb is I would say it's on the trend since maybe the beginning, like this year, maybe already last year. And Morten, they did also a new product now that it's quite easy to use because it doesn't make any stomach problems. I mean, I never had stomach issues with it. And yeah, I use it actually quite often. I mean, I would say for every one-day race, I use it because I feel it really helps at the end of the race. But for a stage race, I mean, usually I don't use it because you feel a bit bloated then the next day. And yeah, if you have to race the next day, and if you have like a climbing stage, for example, yeah, you're quite heavy then, I would say, because you return some water. So yeah, but I would say like in the spring, I use it really often. And beta alanine also, we use it. So we do some like actually it's quite long. You need to take it for like 10 weeks. So actually usually we start maybe in January, February. And then we do maybe another one before Tour de France, so maybe in June or July.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
we use also sometimes beetroot, like beetroot juice, kind of. So this you would use it maybe 3 days before race, and do like one, every day you take kind of a shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. We use also caffeine, a lot of caffeine in the
Yes.
race.
Yeah. With the sodium bicarb product, how soon before the start of your race do you take that works well for you?
Usually I take it 1 hour before the race, and
1
then I
hour.
know it lasts usually, like you have a plateau, but I think it's still useful even after 4 hours. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. It's good to hear no stomach issues with that because yeah, it seems to be like I've heard like mixed things on that, but yeah, I think everybody needs to test it out for themselves and see. And
Yeah, I
then
mean, you need to try it before for sure. Yeah.
yeah, nothing new on race day, as they say. Awesome. So let's see, what is coming up for you from a racing perspective this year, 2024?
So now we just finished all the big classics in Belgium. So now
Mm.
the stage races are coming. I have some stage races in Spain. Then I will do Tour de Suisse, Giro d'Italia, and then Olympics in Paris.
Nice.
And after Olympics, Tour de France. And then there will be the World Championship in Zurich in Switzerland, so at home.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome that it's at home. That's always
Yeah, a lot
nice.
of races, nice races.
Yes. Yeah,
Fun.
amazing. So with stuff like that, the upcoming season, what does your day-to-day training look like right now? Are you kind of still in a
So now
recovery
I
or are you
had a
still doing?
little kind of a break after the classics to rest a bit. I mean, I did nothing for 2 days,
Nice.
and then I started again today actually. And now I will build again some endurance training, so long hours on the bike, and I will train more like maybe the long climbs because I would say the first part of the season is more like punchy climbs, like 2 minutes to 5 minutes, and now it will be more like 20 minutes efforts, like long climbs, especially for the Giro. And but also you have to balance with the Olympics because Olympics will be again like punchy short climbs. So yeah, you need to keep the speed also.
Wow. With the Olympics, are they doing it in Paris or are they doing it somewhere else?
So it's in Paris, actually,
It is.
really in the city. So it's gonna
Wow.
be super nice.
Yeah, amazing. We have a surfer going and it's obviously not in France. So he's going
Oh,
totally
where is
to
it then?
it's to be in Tahiti, actually. Well, has to be.
Oh wow.
He gets to be in Tahiti. So yeah.
Super far.
Yeah, not a lot of
Mm.
waves, I guess, in around France. But yeah, so with that kind of programming too, do you end up doing any like altitude camps or anything in preparation for any of these upcoming races?
Yes, so I actually have a tent at home, altitude
Oh,
tent.
yeah,
So I use it quite a lot. Now I'm sleeping in it actually.
nice.
And usually I combine both, so then I can also be home a bit because we are often not home, so it's nice sometimes to also stay a bit at home and see family, my boyfriend. And so now I sleep in the tent, and usually I do maybe 2 weeks in the tent, and I would go like really in the mountains.
Wow. Do you feel a noticeable difference when you sleep in the tent?
In the training, you mean, or in the
Yeah,
performance?
in your training, I guess after your 2 weeks in it.
Yeah, I mean, like now I feel quite tired because my body is not used to it,
Yeah.
and you can feel in the training it's harder because also you sleep not maybe you don't sleep that well,
Right.
but I would say after 2 weeks I'm used to it, and it's fine, and I can really feel it on my performance maybe after 3 weeks.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Um, Man, it makes me think, can people get those things on Amazon? Can people buy the tents on Amazon? I think I need a tent.
I think
Um,
you could, but it's super
yeah,
expensive, I think.
yeah. We'll link it in the show
Or you
notes.
can also
No,
rent it.
yeah, that's those are handy to have when you can't. I'm at sea level basically, so yeah, that would be
Yeah.
all I can do is the sauna training right now. But do you do any sauna training too? We're
Yeah,
getting.
actually we also do it, HIIT training, but I
Mhm.
would do it later in the season. Yeah.
Yeah, as the weather warms up. Yeah, that makes sense. And then have you done any like sweat testing analysis to determine your fluid needs in those different stages and salt needs and
No,
stuff like
actually,
that?
I never did that, but I think it could be interesting to do it
Yeah.
because yeah, it's hard to know exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is an interesting area of research too that seems to be keeps changing a little bit, each year. Drink to thirst, don't drink to thirst, test yourself,
Yeah.
all that, all the ever evolving. But the fact that you're not cramping, I think, is a good sign. So I think you probably have something
I
dialed
drink
in
enough.
there. Yes. And then let's see, are you doing much of the like medical stuff this year? Or is it full focus on cycling right now?
No, I mean it's like you cannot really do both at the same time.
Yeah.
It's super hard. Like I mean, medical is like yeah. If you work as a doctor, you need to work like 60 hours a week, and it's quite crazy. And
Yeah.
especially the internship, like the
Yeah.
first maybe 5 years, you need to be 100% in it. And
Hmm.
cycling is the same. If you want to perform, you need to also be super professional and be
Hmm.
100% in it. And yeah, now women cycling is actually really, really professional, and everybody's professional. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's almost impossible to do both. And also, I want to like the day I really start medicine, I want to be good at it and not like be tired from training and
Right.
try to fix patients, but be shit and
Y-
kill people and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Do you feel like you've been able to use any of your skills from medical school in any of your cycling like events, like with anybody crash around you or and you come to the rescue or anything like that
Yeah,
happen?
actually, quite often when my teammates they have like an issue, they ask me. I mean, it's not every time I can help them, but yeah, usually it's also nice because it pushed me a bit to read about it. So then I
Yeah.
would go and like read something or like ask a friend who is a doctor, and yeah, I think it's nice because in cycling, I mean, in sport in general, you don't really use your brain sometimes,
Mm,
and less because everybody does everything for you actually, like you don't even
mhm.
think anymore. And sometimes it's nice to yeah to use the
Yeah.
brain again a bit.
Yes, yeah, that's great. So kind of back on a nutrition lens and talking about these different races that you're traveling to, are there any snacks that you always pack and travel with?
Usually I always have some bars, just
Hmm.
like protein bars or like just
Hmm.
yeah bars because it's easy to pack and to have it. And I always have some granola or like muesli with
Um,
me in
nice.
case like I find nothing in the airport
Hmm.
because yeah, I mean the food in the airport is not the best. So
Yeah, yeah. All the snacks. I'm like the snack packer when I go on any trips. Like I went last weekend and they had no food and I started pulling out like fresh oranges and they're like, "Where'd you get that?" It's like
yeah,
I always pack so much stuff, but it's good to have. It comes in handy when
that's yeah,
yeah, the rest
yeah,
of the crew
that's
doesn't
true.
bring any food. Okay, and then let's see. We did have a question from, well, I think we might have maybe covered it a little bit, but one of our listeners asked, what is your favorite pre-race dinner?
So you mean the day before or like in the
Hmm.
breakfast? Day before. So usually for a big race we would do carbo loading maybe
Hmm.
2 days before the race we start. So
Hmm.
yeah, we have a lot of pasta.
Yeah.
So actually the evening before would be a big plate of pasta with maybe some tomato sauce or just olive oil and
Hmm.
maybe a piece of chicken. So that's
Hmm.
really interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would avoid also a bit veggies because it's a lot of fibers and you don't want it.
Hmm.
So maybe we have a soup. If the chef is here, he can make a soup. That's
Yeah.
nice because at least you have some veggies, but not with
Hmm.
all the fibers.
Right.
And yeah, dessert I would also always take like a yogurt or and with
Hmm.
some granola or muesli in it.
Nice. That's great. Yeah,
Simple.
yeah, simple exactly. Yeah, I think that the pasta thing is a go-to for a lot of people, especially when they're traveling. It's usually easy to get pasta, but I think you bring up a good point is like it's pretty simple, either with just some olive oil or a little tomato sauce, no heavy creams or any of that stuff.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
That will lead a lot of people down a troublesome rabbit hole. Awesome. Okay, so I think we can circle back to our two truths and a lie here. So we had during a race, you can take up to 6 caffeinated gels, you brush your teeth 6 times a day, and you eat 6 eggs a day. I said the gels is a lie. Amanda said the teeth. Which one was our lie?
So actually, you both wrong. It's the egg is the lie.
Hey.
Really?
But I also eat a lot of eggs, actually. But
Really?
not
But not
6.
6 daily. Tell us about the caffeinated gels. So there are these 6 caffeinated Martin gels?
Yes, it's a lot actually. But my teammates are always laughing about me because every time after a race, I would still be on caffeine, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited all the time. And yeah, actually, I take a lot of caffeine. I'm used to
Yeah.
it.
Is that 6 caffeinated gels like is like the go-to every time you race, or is that's
No,
the
no, no.
max you've
It's
ever
really like my
taken?
maximum. No, it's my
Gotcha.
maximum. No,
Yeah.
usually it's more like 4,
Yeah.
I would
Wow.
say.
Yeah. That's, I
Still
mean,
a lot.
400. Do you do any caffeine the morning of the race before you start?
No, usually when I race, I don't take any coffee, and then I just go for the coffee and just. But
Yeah.
then usually I don't sleep that well in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a lot. Have you
But
had
it's not
your,
that good because I know normally you need to have, I don't know how much is it per weight? It's like 5 milligrams per
I think
kilo
it's 3 to 5
body
milligrams
weight
per kilo.
maximum.
Yeah. Depending.
Mm.
Yeah. From,
So I'm
well,
way over it, I guess.
maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
Don't do
Well,
that then.
yes. Yeah, it might be 3 to 5 milligrams per kilo, might be per hour. I'll have to look at that study.
I would have said per day, but
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, you're probably over. You're probably over.
I'm over for sure.
Have you had your genetics tested to see if you are a fast or slow caffeine metabolizer?
Yes, actually, we did it with the team, and I'm
Yeah.
super fast with it, so at least
Makes,
it's good.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it's going to benefit your performance hugely. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
in your favor to use it. And then tell us about the teeth brushing. Does that something you've always done, or is it because of the sports nutrition products?
Like always, I really cared about my teeth, and
Mm.
especially more with cycling. Like we have so many of these gels and
Yeah,
sugar all the time. So I feel like I really need to brush my teeth all the time.
yeah.
And it's funny because in the bus I have like a special toothpaste and special
Hmm.
like toothbrush.
Nice.
And because they know I need to brush my teeth all the time. It's the first thing I do when I come back from a race.
Good for you. That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we are. I mean, anytimes we're even drinking, like if we're just coating our teeth with the sugary stuff. So yeah, there's not
Mm.
a break. And then all the gummy stuff getting stuck in there, and it's a smart move. It's a smart move. You didn't learn that from like medical school or anything. It's just you just like did that on your own naturally.
Yes, yeah.
That's
Just
great.
yeah,
Yeah, good for you.
just
That
do
is
it.
fantastic. Okay. Well, let's see. Where can our listeners find you, follow along with your racing journey? Where should we link for them in the show notes?
I'm not that much a social media person, but
Yeah.
I guess on Instagram they can follow me
Hmm.
because yeah, we're quite present with the team, and
Yeah.
yeah, I have
Awesome.
always some duties to do there, so
Yes.
so they can
Yeah.
follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for your racing, it'll be usually featured somewhere on TV, right?
Yeah, actually now all the races are on Eurosport, so it's
Mm-hmm.
nice. I mean, everybody can watch it, and
Awesome.
yeah, watch it. It's
Yay.
nice.
Yay.
Women's
We
cycling
will
is
watch.
interesting.
Yeah. We will be cheering along when all of that's going down. Well, this has been super fun chatting and learning from you and all the nutrition nuggets and supplement nuggets. So thank you so much for joining us, Elise. We are super stoked to get a chance to talk to you.
Thanks to you. I really enjoy. It was nice.